Good morning, everybody. I am Vincent Meza. This is Listings to Leads, and you're here to join us for our top tools for more listings class. So just a high level, I'm not sure how long you've been with us. If you want to put it in the chat panel, if you're new to us, please let me know. And also let me know, do you have listings or do you not have listings? An real estate advertising platform designed for realtors. We've been doing this for 14 years. We have a lot of content that can automatically go out to your social media. We have a lot of ways, a lot of tools that are auto-generated to help you market your listing. And if you don't have listings, we have landing pages, unlimited landing pages. We have PDF guides. We have a lot of e-flyers that can engage. And I think that's one thing to think about is whether you have listings or if you don't have listings, we have tools to help you get going. And help you get buyer leads and seller leads. So before we dive into the nuts and bolts of it, I do want to point you to some of the resources that we have. And if somebody could put in a question, I can send these links to you. This is leadgenwebinars.com. And here you can sign up for our live classes like today's. And I do 3 calls. One is top tools for more listings. I do a call for lenders. I also do Get Started, which is an overview of the whole platform, and Facebook and Google ads. And Facebook and Google is actually really important if you want more listings, because it's always break that down and here's how you get buyers and here's how you get sellers. And there are a lot of ways of using Facebook and Google. We're going to dive into some of those ways today. All classes that we do are recorded, including this one. And we put it right here on our YouTube channel. And you can see here, I did Facebook and Google just a few days ago. Get Started's over here. So if our schedule doesn't work with yours, there's always a recording here. And let's see, what else do we have? We have a mastermind group. Mastermind group is a private group. So if you're a client, use our support page inside of Listings to Leads and ask them to get you in here. And this is really helpful. There's a lot of useful information. This is where Scott and I talk about what's going on, what we're pushing in terms of technology, but it's also where our clients share what's going on. So I'm oh yeah, Courtney's saying our YouTube is amazing. Yeah, thanks. It's also where our clients talk about what's working for them, right? So I'll show you something here by one of our clients here in just a little bit. So like Courtney's saying, thanks for that. I think our YouTube channel is awesome. I'm going to send you a link to it right now. Our platform is generating buyer leads and seller leads at a high clip across the country for our clients. The truth is, it's only working for people who know how to use the system. If you think that you can drop a credit card for $60 and turn on the automation and have it double or triple your business, you're mistaken. But if you're using our tools consistently throughout the month, you're going to find that you can get hundreds of leads every month. And if you're converting those leads, you're going to earn some money on that. So I can see it happening all over the country. I'm going to be highlighting those actions out and showing you the best ways of getting listings, right? So one thing before we get started, inside the little kind of navigation bar for GoToMeeting, there are some buttons. There's like a chat section, but I see a button that says more. And if you click on more, you're going to see that there's a materials tab. And that's where you can download this flyer. I recommend that you download both because I have 2 flyers on this. One is top tools for more listings, which we're going to go through. And the other one is Facebook and Google ads. And that's going to list the ways of getting what kinds of ads you want to run on Facebook and Google, either to get buyers or to get sellers. So let's read through this so that you at least hear right up front what it is that you need to be doing to get more listings. One is mail out the nearby homeowner letter. Now, we've actually listed this in terms of their importance. The nearby homeowner letter gets the highest quality listing leads of all of our tools. Run ads on Facebook for pending, under contract, and sold listings. Create a home valuation page for each of your farm areas. We'll go do that. And then run ads on Facebook and Google with that landing page for home values, right? And then it says here, run ads on Google and Facebook for our seller PDF guides, market the seller PDF guides, mail a home sold report. This is actually connected to the home valuation page. And then mail just sold postcards, use our e-flyers on each status on your CRM, get your seller to share their tools. And then way down here on the bottom, number 11, it says upload homeowner custom audience to Facebook for better targeting. And that I should actually reorder this because I think that's like the number one most important thing to do now is to get a custom audience for Facebook. Google is it's a great place to get leads, especially listing leads. But they're expensive. They're really expensive. And you can get less expensive seller leads from Facebook, but you do have to do a little work sometimes to make that happen. And I think a custom audience will really help you in this way. And so we'll talk about that when we get to it. But right here, let's just start with number 1, right? And it says mail out the nearby homeowner letter. So what in the world is that? Now we auto design if you have a listing. And if you don't have a listing, you can borrow one. And it's really a smart thing to do, like a farm market that you want to be growing. And you don't have listings here, but maybe somebody in your office does. Or maybe you sold something like a month ago, or maybe even 2 months ago, and it's in that area and you're new to us. You should get your listing in the account, whether it's borrowed or yours. And if it's in that farm market, you definitely want to be using this tool. So let's go over here to listings and see where we put that. It's called the nearby homeowner letter. It is a piece of paper. Okay. So it has nothing to do with Facebook or Google or anything else. It's something that you mail to your target, to your farm market. And we actually have an integrated print company partner called Express Copy. I'll show you where that sits. And you can use them to mail this letter out automatically. And let's go look here. And our clients who get the most value, meaning the most listings, they mail this letter every time they have a property that's just listed. And then they mail it again when the home is just sold. So let's go check this out as just listed here. So you click on market and you see all the tools that we auto generate for your listing. And right here is the nearby homeowner letter. Now, this doesn't generate the most amount of leads, but these leads convert the fastest into listings. Okay. So if you want listings and you want to capture leads that turn into listings, you want to figure out how to get this into the market. One thing I recommend, I think we should have it by default, but turn this on. This allows us to reach into onboard infometrics and put some sales data related to this zip code of where this home is, right? Now, let's look at the letter real fast and see what it is and why it would work. I'll tell you right before we even see it, it's not the sexiest thing in the world, right? I know that a lot of you come from some really great companies with awesome luxury looks and stuff like that. And that's not what this is about. What this is about is like the average person's concentration ability. This is meant to scan in about 3 seconds and make a decision. And then up top, it says, hey, I have a home just listed, go there or scan that QR code and go find out about it. But the important line here is when that home is sold, it will affect your home value. And here are some data points that we just pulled in because I turned that button on. And it says, we'd like to invite you to get your home value for free right here. Now, this page here, we auto generate for you automatically. Okay. So it's in your account on the landing page section. I do recommend that you go look at it and you edit it. I'll show you where you change this picture. Because if that neighborhood that you see in the background doesn't look like your neighborhood, it may not work as well for you. And so you can change that background picture and we integrate it everywhere with a lot of your marketing tools. So you want to make sure that speaks to your market. But this is just a piece of paper. Okay. And this becomes very valuable to you if you mail it to people with equity, right? That kind of makes sense. So how would you do that? The easy way is to start an account with Express Copy. And once you've done that, you can connect that account and you can click print and mail. And then we have a little software bridge. And so let's see what that allows us to do. What it's doing, as you can see, this is a printer who will download that letter and they'll mail it. If you click this button, get mailing list, you can say, I want to send it to a 1 mile radius or maybe a 2 mile radius to homeowners with more than 6 years equity. So this 100 pieces of mail to people that live within 1 or 2 miles of your current listing or your sold listing. and you just click submit order. So you can imagine that takes about 10 seconds to do, right? They'll mail out 100 pieces. They do charge $185, so about $1.85 per letter, but they download the letter, they fold it, they put it in an envelope, and they mail it. And a lot of our clients like this. We're certainly excited by this integration because it makes it very easy for clients like you. And so since it's our top tool to capture listing leads that turn into listing contracts, we want to make it easier for her, right? But I want to show you something not necessarily as easy, but it is worth it, right? You'll see. Let's look at it here. So Pat's been a client. This is our mastermind group, by the way. She's been a client for more than 10 years. And if you look at her name, you'll see that she's been talking about this letter for a year. And she said, hey, every time I get a listing in a condo, I mail this out and then I get more listings. This time she's got a home and she prints up the nearby homeowner letter and she prints up 100 and then she flips them over and prints on the back. She uses Microsoft Publisher to make that look like an envelope. That little red stamp was done by Microsoft Publisher. So it looks really local, hyper local, right? Now she does something that I haven't seen anybody do. She folds that piece of paper. I don't know if you can see it. There's some little like moon stickers to close that, but you can tell that it's loaded with content just by looking at it, and it's handwritten. So this is hard to throw away as junk mail. Okay. Now I want to point out that when we use that partner, it definitely looks like bulk mail, right? It's not handwritten. It's printed out. It's the correct address when you're using Express Copy, but it doesn't look like it's like really designed to go directly to that person. Whereas this one is handwritten. So you have to look at it and see what's going on here. And from looking at the letter, it's not a heavy read. They can get to an assumption really quickly. But look at this, takes a lot more time, right? She says it took 4 hours to do all this, right? And she mailed out 100 just listed when it was just listed. And this is just sold, right? If you look at the notes here, the comments and people asking, you'll notice that she got 4 listings from the first 100 and another 4 listings from the second 100 when it was sold. This letter is very powerful. It's really tailored to fit, your market. So that's the number one way. This is 1 listing, 200 pieces of mail, and 8 more listings. That's the best I have seen. I will say this about Pat. She has been using that letter for years and she's essentially perfecting that, right? So that's the nearby homeowner letter. I definitely recommend if you think about mailing things, and I think this is one thing you want to think about, is what I'm going to show you are ways to mail your farm market, ways to run ads in front of your farm market, and also ways to email these people. And you have to think about this if you're going to really become a listing machine, right? You need a system that's going to get you listing leads and build your brand and let people know you're a professional in this market. And I think with email, with ads, and with print, you can do that. That being said, when we see a letter like this, or if you look at our print tools, and they could be postcards too, like this property is just listed. Let's go look at a property that is sold. Now, on the property that's sold, you could buy homeowner letters. That's what there are a lot of clients that like postcards. So if I click on postcards and door hangers, you'll notice that there's a postcard that says, hey, this is just sold. There's a website, or you can scan that QR code and go check it out. But on the back, it's going to say that affects your home value. And that link there is going to get people free home value. And we definitely have had people say, hey, we mail out 100 of these and we get a listing, right? That's a great thing to do. So you can use that if you want. Postcards work. The nearby homeowner letters really solid. But I really think you need to think about your number one farm market getting 2 pieces of our printed content out every month. Okay. I don't know how you want to do that. You could use Express Copy. You could do it by hand, whatever you want. But if you're targeting, let's just say 1 town, and you're mailing them 2 things a month, could be a postcard, could be a letter. It's just going to build your brand, and everything that we create is designed to capture leads for you. So let's go back to our list, and it says run Facebook ads on pending, under contract, and sold listing. So since we're looking at this listing, I can click on Facebook and Instagram ads, and this property is sold. So this is exactly the kind of property that's going to get you a listing lead. So when I click Facebook and Instagram ads, the ad is written. Okay. And all I have to do is click create ad. And that is enough information to say this home is sold. It affects your home value. Click here to get your home value. Boom. There you go. It's a $50 ad for 7 days. And in case you don't know, Facebook charges you per lead, right? So there's a cost per lead. So every time you get a lead, for this kind of ad, the average cost in the United States is $7. Okay. So if you divide 7 into 50, you can expect 7 leads for that $50 in a 7-day period. Okay. You might get the leads, all of them in 3 or 4 days, but then the ad will disappear. But they'll email you and notify you if that's what's happening. And I want to show you back in the mastermind group a story about that. And this comes from a client in Texas. They set up the offices around the country and things like that and partnerships. And one of them is with Brian here. He has a LPT office in Texas. And so he created a video really to share with his agents to show them how this thing works, right? How listings to leads work. So he's pretty happy. He's showing people that you can run an ad on a sold property here. And he's telling them how they ran it. And in one ad, a $50 ad, they get a listing, and that's going to be one listing for $400,000 and then turn around and purchase a home for $450,000. But what he's saying in the video, this home was so popular that when they marketed it for sale, they generated 114 leads. Okay. And they converted 4. Now, just so you know, buyer leads about $3 each. So to generate 114, you'd have to spend about $350. Okay. So $350 for 114 buyer leads. 4 people buy homes from those leads. And then he spends $50 to get one listing, which turns into $850,000 of volume, right? I don't know what the commission will be there. I'm sure you guys know that, but I think the ROI is there, right? And I actually asked him in this, you can go look at the notes yourself. I said, what did you do to get that? And he said, I didn't do it. I said, did you do anything special over here when you ran? He said, nope, I just use your language. I click create ad and bang, that was it. That's, you want to be running ads. And so when we talk about Facebook, I tell every agent that your minimum budget should be $200. And when I say minimum, that's like for a green agent that has no business, right? Maybe you've been doing this a year. Nobody knows who you are. That would be $450 ads a month. So 7-day ads. And you can see when you click create an ad, it's a 7-day ad and you either have a $35 budget or a $50 budget. If you spend $50 a week, that's $200 a month. Your business page, not our best listing, but you Rockstar Realtor, is going to be seen probably 10 to 15,000 times. And you have to think about that because I don't know where you guys are sitting, but I'm pretty sure you've got some competition. I talked to realtors and I remember somebody saying they have 30,000 realtors in their market, right? So how does your name stand out in a market of all those people that you're competing with? If you're spending $200 a month on Facebook, your business page will be seen about 10,000 times, more or less, right? You'll also capture leads depending on what kinds of ads you're running, right? So you can capture leads, you can build your brand, you can get buyer leads, and you can get seller leads for Facebook. And the just sold ads are one of the easiest and cheapest ways of doing that, right? So let's go look here. And what's next? Create a property valuation page. We got a few people. Give me a town where you want to see a home value page. And let me go over here to landing pages. This is important because you really got to start with one farm market, right? And on the farm market, you probably have 4 or 5 or more. Maybe you do business in 10 different towns. But when you go to landing pages, you can create a landing page called Property Valuation Plus for any town. Now, I don't see anybody giving me a town, so we will create a new one. But I do want to point out, you remember when I showed you that letter and I said, hey, that it's pointing to a picture that looks like this. Now, if you live in a town where this doesn't look like your neighborhoods, you probably want to change that. So when you come here and you see the pencil means edit, and you can edit this and you can change your photo to look like your area. Right over here, we drop you on upload image, and you just upload image that's, I don't know, 2000 pixels wide, and it'll replace this image. And once you've done that, you can then market it. And so I've got one here for Memphis. That's right. Let's look at Memphis. Actually, let's look at Livermore because I can show you something about it. So I created this a couple weeks ago, and there's a button under it that says marketing tools. So the first thing you can do is run an ad on Facebook, right? I would tell you this is where we got to stop because you could be wasting your money on this one. Interesting. We're driving traffic. That's interesting. I need to take a picture of this because that doesn't. I'm gonna point out what that and talk to my team about that. And let me take a timeout here and explain to you what traffic means, right? Because this is actually a really important part of the question. If you run a home value ad and notice it says Livermore, things have changed in Livermore. I want to do traffic. What's the location? You type in Livermore, whatever that town is that you created. It could be Orlando, it could be Tampa, wherever. You create the landing page. It has a picture of something local. And then you say, hey, a $50 ad, and I'm going to run this, right? There's a lot to unpack on this one. Okay. So please bear with me. It's a $50 ad, 50. These leads, the cost of these leads are the most expensive on Facebook. They're usually around $15 each, maybe a little more or a little less, depending on where you're sitting. So if you spend $15 and if you spend $50 and a lead costs 15, you can expect 3 leads, right? $45, you'll have $5 left over, right? So let me stop that nonsense. So that's one thing, right? $50, 3 leads. Now the question here that I'm seeing is, what are we doing driving traffic, right? That's a traffic ad. And what that means is we're going to drive people to this page, right? You customized it for your local area. Let me show you how this page works in case you don't know. You start off by putting an address, and a lot of people are very easy. They'll type in their address and it says get estimated value. And so then it goes to page 2, and page 2, it's going to show them a map of their home on Google. And it's going to say, we've got this one. What you can have the page ask you what's your price, right? That you would sell immediately. But the default setting is this, which is actually is a really bad example. It's going to say, we have your value. Give us your contact information. And that's where people stop because they don't want to give you their information. They don't even want to give you an email address. They'd rather leave the page. They're fine typing in their address, but they're not fine giving you any contact information because they don't want to be contacted, right? That's just like if you drive people to that page, that's what can happen. Now it's different if you're mailing a letter, right? Because now they're looking at it and they can see, hey, you're in my neighborhood and all that. They will fill that out. But here, if you're running an ad, they don't know you. They're just, and I'm online. Do I want to really fill something out? So that's what happens when you do a traffic ad. They see the ad, they click the ad, they land on the page, and it starts asking them questions. I actually don't recommend that. I don't even know why we changed it because by default, almost all of our ads use lead ads. Okay. So I'm going to go talk to my team after this call and say what's going on here and I want you to understand the difference. If we use lead ads, then the ad is visible on Facebook like this. But if somebody clicks on it, and remember, you have to type in the name of the town if somebody clicked on it, this little window pops up on Facebook and it has their name, email, and phone number pre-populated from their profile. And people are very comfortable giving you their information that way. They're not comfortable typing it in, but when Facebook pops it up and it says, would you like your free home value? They just click yes. And you get the name, email, and phone number. You should right away text them and email them and say, hey, I see you want your home value. Can I get your address? We'll get that for you right away. They give you the address. You go over here, you drop in the address, you drop in their email, bang, we email it to them. We copy you on the value. And now you can say, hey, I see you just got that. We just sent that to you. Does that number sound right? And they might say yes, no, whatever, but that's starting the conversation. And so you got to ask yourself, can you convert a lead easier with just a physical address to their home? Because that's likely what you're going to get if you run an ad with traffic. Or are you going to be able to convert a lead if you have their name, email, and phone number, where you have to ask them their address? You can make the decision. I'm going to be telling our team to put this back to lead ads so that we're not driving traffic, because that's not, in my opinion, the best way to do it. There's also another major problem here. And that is, if we look at this page, and this is all getting a little bit tricky, so you definitely got to watch this a couple times to know what I'm going to say here. Number 11, it says advanced. It says upload custom audience for Facebook and better targeting. And that's probably the most important issue when it comes to running a home value ad talking about a town. And this is important for you if you live in a dense area where if there's a town next to another town and next to another town. And to explain to you what I'm saying, let me show you a little bit about Livermore, California. Livermore is a nice town. It's been on the edge of the San Francisco Bay Area, and it's where the dense populated Bay Area expands into the Central Valley and the farms of California, right? And so this picture right here on this map, this is Livermore, and it's nice, pretty, definitely suburban, right? But this map I'm expanding on, this is right here, that's about a 15-mile radius. It's like this. And the problem with Facebook is you can't shrink the radius less than 15 miles. And what does that mean if you're running an ad in this area? This means about 1 million people will see this ad who don't live in Livermore. Okay. And that's the first problem with running an ad like that. Now, I don't know where you live, right? You might live in a town where the next town is 30 miles away. So big deal. 15 miles radius is going to work for me. But here, 1 million people are going to see your ad that don't care about Livermore, right? That's a problem. And that's why those ads often don't work. And a lot of agents don't know that because they don't take this class. And that's just the bummer, right? So anyway, that is the problem. That's why I say in my little document here, get a custom audience. And that brings up companies like listsource.com, Reline.com, RedX, Coal Resource. This is what you want. You want a list of homeowners with more than 5 years equity in your number one farm market. You want that list to have their name, email, phone number, and address. The reason you want the address is you know that we have this nearby homeowner letter. So you want to mail it to them, right? That would be great to have that list. So you can just mail those people in that farm market, right? But also if you come over to our ad section, you'll notice that there's a button that you can create a custom audience. And that audience could be called Livermore homeowners, right? Or whatever town you're working on, right? But you have to buy the list from somebody else. We don't have it here, right? There are other companies that sell that kind of stuff. You want name, phone number, email, and address. And I'm going to show you where you create the custom audience. There's a button here that says create audience. And when I click that, you can name it whatever you want. Livermore homeowners, right? It's got to be 1,000 leads deep. If you're working in a small town or a neighborhood and it's only 750 homes, you need to find another 250, because if the list is too small, Facebook won't let you target it, won't let you use it. And we actually show you what it should look like right here, right? It's got to have those headers, email, number, first name, last name, and it's got to have those 4 things. So if you buy a list from any company, it's probably going to have 20 or 30 columns of data. Save that because you're going to need it for something else. But for Facebook, you need to save it like this. When you import it and create it, it's going to live in your Facebook account. So even if you stop working with us, you're still going to have an audience to target. And let me show you what you do then. Then you say, okay, I want to create a landing page ad because I have my landing page for Livermore. And instead of running an ad, and I'm leaving it on lead ads because I definitely want leads with name, email, and phone number. Instead of typing in Livermore here with a 15-mile radius, which we now know is going to be showing to 1 million people that don't need it, I'm going to type in whatever the name of your custom audience, right? And that tells Facebook, hey, the people on that list, show this ad to them if they're on Facebook in that 7-day period. And because you bought that list, that those people have, 5 or 6 years equity. So it's definitely targeting the people you want. This is one of the smartest ways to use a home value page like this. You don't need to go through this when we do a sold ad like we did before. We just sold a property and that affects your home value. But when you're doing this kind of ad, talking about a town, showing a picture from that town, you're going to want to do this. Otherwise, you could be wasting your time and money. All right. So that is, let's go back to here. It says run ads on Facebook on home value. So that's what we're targeting, or that's what we're doing. There's also down here, I'm going to skip something here, and it's the mail the home sold report. This is an advanced option. So let's talk about that real quickly. So here on the, in this view, we can run the ad here, and there is a farm circle prospecting letter. So we create a piece of a letter that looks a lot like the nearby homeowner letter, right? And the nearby homeowner letter was talking about a listing, right? So what if you don't have a listing in that market, right? You can create a landing page for that market, like we did for Livermore, and then you can mail that out. And so if you can type in like the sales of last month, if you want, you can say, hey, you know what? 10 homes sold last month. That's 40 for the year. And the high is here. And just keep this on one page. That affects your home value, right? Find out your free home value. Just scan right there and do that, right? This allows you to mail something to your farm market, even if you don't have a listing. It's a home sold report. That's going to be one of the tools that are available. You can also share it for free to social media. So after you created the landing page, you can do that. And remember how earlier I said you have the ability to email. So when you see the words eFlyer for your database, this means copy this and take it to your own CRM. And if somebody clicks on that link or that picture, they're going to be able to get their free home value. They can see all the homes for sale that are inside your account. They can even see your reviews, right? But getting this out with some data on what's been happening the past month is going to help people quickly scan and take a decision and maybe get their home value. That's free to use. You just copy it, you take it to your CRM and you blast it out. One thing, I know there's a lady, I can't remember her name. It's like Amanda something. She's a realtor coach. And this QR code, she tells all of her agents, like everything that she mails out, regardless of what it is, it's always going to say, scan here to get your free home value. And so all of the mailing she does throughout the year, it could be about an open house. It could be about, here's our last month in our area. Every one of them has this QR code pointing to that landing page so that she's getting listings all the time because she knows she's always got print out there. So if you're doing print, you might want to do something like that, right? We have lots of options for you. Let's go back to our list to make sure we're handling everything, right? So we know that we can run a home value ad on Facebook, and we know that there's a letter, a home sold report, and we've looked at how to create a custom audience so that on Facebook, we can do that. But let's look at this Google piece right here, because Google is the #1 website in the country, right? Facebook is awesome. But when we look at Facebook, you may not know this. American adults in the United States spend about 40 minutes every day here, right? Oh my God, don't tell me Peter did this. Oh, no way. Anyways, all kinds of things happen. Like you can see what your friends are eating. You can see where they're vacationing, this and that. Here's something, it's a sponsored ad, I don't know, about affordable housing, right? That's the power of Facebook. If Americans spend 40 minutes a day here, looking at pictures of cats and what their friends are eating and looking at their grandkids, then an ad just shows up, right? And that can be really effective if at that moment I was actually thinking of that. But what if I wasn't? Had a question like, hey, what's the best car for me to buy? Or where's the best martini in New York? Or how do I sell my home? Google is the number one website in the country. Okay. And 86% of all questions are asked right here. Notice here's some other topics: without a realtor in California, with cash, right? With a realtor, all kinds of ways for people to ask questions. So if you're using our ad software and you say, hey, I want to create an ad on Google and I want to drive people to my Livermore page that I created, well, you just take the page and where is it? It's right here. And you click create ad. Okay. Now with Google, you don't need to worry about custom audiences. They don't give you that functionality, right? They just can't do that. But it is the number one website in the country. I feel like I'm clicking this and I'm not. So you don't get the ability to like really upload a target list and tell Google to do that. You do that with Facebook, but Google has its value because, like I said, 86% of all questions happen here. So let's let this refresh and then we'll look at it. Are there any questions about what we've been talking about so far? About Facebook, about custom audiences? So let's do this one more time. Landing page ad. I want to go to Livermore. Go here. Where is it? There. Create ad. Better work this time. Let's go here. Not sure what's going on there. Normally it's going to create an ad on Google, but it's going sideways. Here's my page here for Livermore. So if I click on marketing tools here, and hopefully it works over here. If not, there's Google ads. So create a Google ad here. And all we have to do, since it says Livermore here, and I can just type in Livermore, right? And that's all you have to do. Now it's a $50 a day ad, not $50 a week, $50 a day. And let me explain why. Google is the number one website in the country. And with that, Google decides, hey, we're going to charge the most. There is definitely a different lead quality here, because in order for you to pop up and pay for a lead on Google, they have to have typed in some words, right? Like, how do I sell my home? Now, we actually have a list. We know what all the keywords are that people are using. So we keep list, or we keep that up to date. Now, you don't have to do this when you're running an ad, but I'm going to click it here just to show you. We put all these keywords in here. So if any of these words are typed in, that's what's going to trigger this ad showing up. We also write all the headlines for you. You have to have multiple headlines, and we also have to have multiple descriptions. So we do all that automatically. The nice thing is that they only target people in the town. What we don't know is, do they own a home, right? It's good to have just people sitting in Livermore who type in these keywords. They're going to see this ad, and a home renter is not going to do that. So it's actually very effective, right? And like I said, you can share it on social media. You got an e-flyer for your database. Lots of ways of getting that out. But Google is a great place to run an ad. But I do want to point out that these leads cost, in Dallas, Texas, if you ran an ad like this, these leads would cost $30 each. Okay. So if you're running a $50 ad, you could expect one lead per day, right? Because it would be 30 and there'd be $20 left over. And if you're in Western Pennsylvania, these leads cost $22 each. And if you're in Utah, I've heard they're like $17 each. So I don't know where everybody's sitting today, but that's what you want to think of. I remember when I was talking to this team in Dallas, and they're like, I was like, $30, that's a lot. And there's, yeah, they said, but our homes sell for a lot of money and we make X amount of dollars. So we're happy to invest this amount of money to get those listing. And so you want to do the back of the pencil and figure out what you're willing to invest to get a listing. And you can see that you can get high quality leads from Google, but you have to do the math and figure out how that's going to work for you. So let's go back to our list, make sure we're getting through everything. So we've seen how to run a Google ad on free home values. Let's see how we can do it when it comes in. And that was on a landing page. Let's go look at the PDF guide. Now, the PDF guides, these are all branded to you on every page. Your color scheme from your profile and your logo and your picture are on every page of these PDF guides. And there are about 80 of them. Okay. But 40 of them are for homeowners, right? For sellers. So if you click on seller PDF guide, you see all of them. If you want, you can download them, but you can also, like you see this one, 12 mistakes to avoid when selling your home. You could click market and you could click run it out on Google. You can run it out on Facebook too. And that works. You don't even have to worry about the custom audience if you don't want, because these are not city specific. If you do have a custom audience and you definitely want to own that farm market, then you can use your custom audience, but you don't have to. Here, I'm just going to type in Livermore one more time because on Google, I want to really work that area. And this is mistakes when selling a home. I want to point out in our mastermind group, just over a week ago, one of our clients came in and said, "Hey, I just generated a listing from running an ad on Google," and he used that exact report, right? So let's go look and see if I can find it. Yeah, I just got a listing from the PDF guide, 12 mistakes to avoid when selling. It was July 17th. So that's about 12 days ago, right? And this is what he did. He went over here and created an ad. It wasn't in Livermore. I can't remember where he is. He just published it. And somebody typed in those keywords. There are different keywords for this than the other ad we saw. But there's a landing page behind this and somebody clicks it and they filled it out and he converted that lead into a listing. Right. So that's a solid way of getting out there, getting on Google and competing on Google. And then, as I said here in this article, I want to remind you, you can download this on your, if you go to more in the GoToMeeting chat panel and go to materials, this is sitting right there. Download both of them. If you're watching this in a recording, email me at Vince@Listings to Leads and just ask me to send these and I'll gladly email it to you. But then it also says market seller PDF guide. So when we're here, I showed you how to run an ad, but you can also share it for free on social media. You can also have an e-flyer to blast out on your CRM. There are print flyers and door hangers. And I'll share with you something about door hangers, not related to this, but related to the landing page. So remember when we created the landing page and we're looking at the Livermore landing page. Whenever you create a landing page, you're going to see when you click marketing tools that there are multiple ways of getting that out, including Facebook, including Google and the e-flyer. But there's also door hangers. And one of our clients, I've got a client who has an office in San Antonio, Texas. He prints out the door hanger. So he creates a landing page for each agent. And he then takes the door hanger from this and he prints it out in bulk in groups of 1,000 from Vistaprint, right? So he sends this to Vistaprint. He says it's very cheap if they do it. And then it's a door hanger. So he just gives them to his agents and he says, you walk these streets and you don't even need a door knock, just hang these on the thing. And he can tell who's doing the walking and who's not, because the people who are walking and hanging these on home are getting listing leads. And then he takes those listing leads and gives them back to the agent and they start working them. That's a great way of applying this. And this is auto generated. You decide where you want to print it. All the call to actions are built into it, but that's just a door hanger, right? So definitely that's a good way of getting that tool out there as well. And then we talked about the home sold report. We've talked about the just sold postcards for your property, which we generate. And then I've also talked about e-flyers, right? For each listing status to your CRM. So we'll just go there and look at that real quickly. There are e-flyers for your PDF guides. You know that. There are e-flyers for your landing pages. You can click on marketing tool, but also every listing has an e-flyer. And you definitely want to think about, you remember when I said you want to mail 2 pieces of our tools to your farm market every month, right? You also want to hit your database, your CRM every week with one of our tools. It doesn't have to be just listed or just sold. You might have an open house, but whenever you see eFlyer for your database, and this time it is for an open house, you're going to see multiple links in it. So people actually look at your eFlyer and click either that link or that picture and drop on a page where they're going to become a buyer lead. And the same flyer is going to say, that's going to affect your home value, get your free home value. That's why you want to be using one of our flyers every week, because there's always the opportunity to get your home value. And you never know when somebody's going to be interested in that. And that's why you got to use that. And let's go, get sellers to share your tools. So one thing that a lot of our clients ignore, because we email this tool to you automatically, and then we ask you to read instructions, and that's where everybody's brain goes tilt. But let me show you what this is. When we email something to you, we say, hey, give that to your client. This is what we mean. We mean forward it. And let me show you, you forward it and you email it to your homeowner, right? Because we actually have tools for your social media, right? We auto post to your social media. You don't even have to worry about that. But it's almost like a pre-written testimonial, right? Now, what we're looking at here is a property that's sold. So the message is different, right? But if you have a property that's just listed, we're going to email this tool to you and say, hey, give it to your homeowner. And it's going to say, hey, our home is just listed and we want to recommend you at your office. We're doing to do all the marketing for us. So it's telling all their friends and family that you are their realtor. When you have an open house, it's going to say, hey, we're having an open house this week and Scott's doing all this information to get our home sold, right? And then this one, it's sold. So it says, hey, this home is sold. You sold it. Here's your phone number and email in front of all my friends and family to see, right? Now, if somebody is curious when this home is sold, they can click on here, right? And because if they're looking at this, at some point, a call to action is going to pop up right in their face that's going to say that affect your home value. I think, how do I get the list top tools? If on the GoToMeeting chat panel, there's a bunch of buttons there, right? And one of them says more. And when you click on more, there's a tab that says materials. And there are 2 flyers there, one for Google and PDF and one for top tools for listing. I recommend you download both and you print them, because they're listing everything that we're doing here. And I break it down on Facebook and Google. This is how you get listing. So the cool thing about is what I've been talking to you about for just about an hour is how to capture leads, right? From the internet and from print and from wherever. But isn't it nice to get referrals from your current clients? This is a lot closer to that, because this is going to the friends and family and colleagues of your current clients. We email this tool to you automatically. Forward it, send it to your client, call them and say, hey, I just sent you something. I know you get 100 emails a day, but we want to get more buyers for you. So would you put this out there? Copy it and put it on your Facebook. And this, of course, is talking about you, and all the lead capture behind every photo is designed to capture leads for you. So that's kind of everything on the list, right? I want to remind you, you want to be running an ad once a week. You want to be blasting some sort of email once a week, and you want to mail something to your core farm markets at least twice a month, right? Maybe at least once a month. We have the easy way with using Express Copy. You can see that some of our clients do it in other ways and they get great results too. Any questions about what we've been talking about today of how to get listings from our platform? I don't see any, so I will remind you that this call is being recorded and it will probably be on this page, which is our YouTube channel, either later today or tomorrow. I do recommend that if you're new to us, that you do watch a calls called Top Tools for More Listings, so that you really get this down, that there's no mistakes, you're doing it the right way, and you're consistently using our tools to get listings. And one more thing, it's up here inside the account is a tab that says training. And there are other classes here that Scott does. I don't quite know when he's doing them, but You can click here, and if there's a live class, you can sign up for it, or you can watch a recording. So that's all helpful for you as well. And I will tell you one more thing. Hopefully you did this automatically when you use. There's a page called social content. And when you sign up, we drop you through this, but I'm just going to point it out to you. Social content is where you connect your social media accounts and you tell us how often you want us to post, and then you choose the topics. And we've been talking about how to get listings. So I definitely want to recommend this. Make sure you have these two things turned on. There's PDF guides for sellers. We looked at them. There's 40 of them. There's also another 40 PDF guides for buyers. And when we auto post these, we put a nice picture and there's a little blurb, of text, but there's also a landing page behind it. So if somebody wants to download any of these guides, they can for free as long as they give you their contact information. So definitely turn that on. Maybe turn on some of these other cool things about real estate and design and real estate media. And that's good too. So I don't see any questions. So thanks for joining me today. This call will be up on in our YouTube channels shortly. And don't forget to ask our support team to get you into the mastermind group. And look at Pat Motley, look at Dustin Fox, look at Chris Winstead. Lots of stories. I'll show you the story of Chris Winstead since this is actually relevant to the Nearby Homeowner letter as well. And Chris is the guy who I was telling you, he does the door hangers. So when he started working with us, he was an agent. He moved to San Antonio, Texas, and we didn't know who he was. He just moved there because his wife's family is from there and they have kids and they wanted to be close to the family. So what he does is he runs videos like this, which are actually really strong, but he mails our Nearby Homeowner letter out twice a month to his farm market. He bought a home in a nice area and I want to own this area. So he says, what he's doing is he says, I send out letters every other week to neighbors. He bought that list from remind.com. Once they open it and once they opt in on the home value page, I hit them up every week with phone calls, bomb messages, letters via mail, and letters left at the door, right? The letters left at the door are actually our PDF guides because I told you there's 40 of them, right? So I don't even think he's had to drop 40, but every week he prints one, puts in an envelope, puts his business card, and that's part of his conversion process, as well as bomb phone calls and email. He does mail out these, or he puts these on Facebook and hits up everybody in his market, but he's using our Nearby Homeowner letter, which is one of the first things we talked about. It's at the top of our list. And he hits those people up every 2 weeks. And that's how he gets 5 listings in 3 months after he just moved into a neighborhood. So it's very effective. I definitely recommend that you use it as well as the other tools. If you haven't grasped it by now, your branding is going to be a lot stronger when you're hitting them with email, you're hitting your target market in mail. And one last thing, I mentioned getting a custom audience, right? And I showed you how to put it in Facebook. You can also upload that list to your own CRM. And then you can use our flyers to target those people. So you'll be hitting this group of homeowners from whatever company you bought that list from. You'll be hitting them on Facebook. You can run ads or you can run e-flyers and blast them out on your CRM, and you can mail those people as well. You want to start with one farm market, and after you get that kind of machine working and you're getting some ROI, you should probably expand to multiple markets as you see fit. Thanks so much, everybody, for joining me. I hope you're enjoying the summer. Let us know if you have questions. Support team's awesome. If you need this flyer and you're not on the call, you can email me at Vincent Listings to Leads. And if you have other questions, you can email me as well. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.